Hey, lazy photographer, you need to scan your negatives.
I need to find an easy way to scan my negatives. I need to find an easy way to scan the negatives. Anywhere and anytime.
When scanning negatives, you have a lot of options these days. You can use your local lab, although sometimes the quality can be lacking, to be honest. Now, if you want to scan at home, you can do that. You can get an Uritsu or a Frontier scanner and you can get really good quality like the scans I get from my favorite lab, which is Kamensita. However, these scanners are really expensive, they're pretty old and they can break easily. They're big and bulky, so not the ideal solution. For some it might be, for me it's not. Now, another method you can choose is to use your digital camera to digitize your negatives. And that's my method of choice. I've done a few videos where I show my process, or if you haven't seen them, check them out. But that method also has a few downsides, especially you need the space that you need, because you need to have this copy stand. You need a light source, you need a film holder, and yeah, if you don't have the dedicated space for it, you have to set it up every time. It's not ideal. So not the perfect solution for everyone, but maybe there's another way. A few weeks ago, a company called Valoi, you might be familiar with them because they have these awesome film holders. They got in touch and they said, hey, you want to try out our new film holder or device for scanning films for 35mm film. And as you might know, I'm currently traveling, so I'm not at home. And I said to them, hey, unfortunately, I would love to, but unfortunately, I'm traveling right now, so I can't. But then they got back to me and I said, maybe you want to try this one, especially because you're traveling right now. Because it's very compact and it's maybe ideal for traveling. So they sent me a promotion video. I watched it, and after watching the video, I said, yes, please send me the new device. I want to give it a try. All right, let's see what came in the box. All right, let's get this out of the way. The first thing that came in the box they sent me is this extension tube for my Nikon 55mm macro lens. Right, now the main unit. So the new scanning device, this black box here. It's really compact and trust me, it's really cool. And here it is. That's the device they sent me over to scan my 35mm negatives with. It's pretty small, it's super lightweight. And this goes in front of a lens that I own. It's the Nikon 55 2.8 AIS micro. I think it's called micro, the macro lenses. And on here I have the adapter to my L-mount camera, the Lumix S5, and also an extension tube, because this macro only goes to, it's not a one-to-one macro, but this helps me to get to one-to-one, so I can scan pretty much the whole negative across the sensor, so I won't lose any resolution, which is pretty cool. So, and this device here comes with different extension tubes depending on which focal length you're using on your macro lens. And yeah, I mean, look at that. It's pretty awesome. I mean, look at the size and weight. I think this is definitely a cool thing for traveling. Now, you might think, what is so special about this small black box here? Well, it is basically the film holder. The film goes in here. And also, the cool part about this, it has a built-in light source. So you can turn it on here. Maybe you can probably see it here somewhat. You can change the output. You can even change the color temperature, and it has USB Type-C, so you can recharge it. So no batteries, nothing needed. So, I mean, this is genius. You don't need any light source. You don't really need to rely on ambient light, or you need a flash or whatever. It's all built in here in this small black box. Alright, let's assemble this whole thing. First I will put the extension tube on the Nikon lens and also the adapter so I can mount it to my Lumix camera. Now let's mount the film holder and the light source in front of the rig here. It screws on easily. Alright, that's pretty much it. If you're not using, or if you're using a native macro lens for your camera, you don't need the adapter, and if it's a one-to-one macro, you don't need the extension tube, so the whole setup might get even smaller than this one. So the negatives go in on the right side, and now the only thing I need to do is focus the lens. So I'm zooming in, alright, about here. So my camera settings, the lens is at f8, ISO 100, 1/30th of a second, and I'm using the self-timer set to 2 seconds. One important thing to keep in mind is that this is not an in-depth review. I just want to show you the product here. And since this is a prototype, it will have changes implemented until it ships. So it might look slightly different and it might have maybe even better features. But so far it's already working really nicely. As you just saw, it's super simple. And if you only shoot 35mm, this might be the only thing you actually need to scan your negatives. And also, because it's a prototype, they said that they will come up with different inserts. So now you can pretty much scan the whole frame, but then you will be able to scan even with the sprocket holes, if this is what you're up to. For me, I think this is all right. So I will definitely use this in the future to scan my 35mm negatives. Like I've mentioned before, this is not an in-depth review about this product since it's a prototype, but I wanted to show it to you because I think it's really cool. And if you primarily shoot 35mm, like I said before, that's probably all you need to scan your images. And one thing that is also pretty cool is that it will be very affordable. I don't know the exact price, but I think it will be somewhere between 100 to 200 euros, maybe let's say 150, 170 euros around there. I think that's a pretty good deal for what you're getting, and yeah, especially like me, if I'm traveling, I could see myself bringing this on a trip if I want to have full control over my scans and don't need to rely on some lab that might give me some really bad results. So this is pretty cool, and if you're interested, they have a campaign that just started on Indiegogo, and I will put the link in the video description. Check it out. They never asked me to do this, but I think I want to support them because I think it's a cool thing what they are doing for the film shooter community. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. If you want to support me and my channel, check out one of my street photography zines, all shot on film. And also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and smash the like button if you like this video. And also let me know what you think about this device. Have you heard about it? Is it something you would be interested in? Share your opinion about this. Alright guys, that's it for today. See you on the next one. Until then, auf Wiedersehen.